This is the Wilier Granturismo SLR, and it's the bike that Alan and I rode in our epic 280-kilometre ride across Italy in a day. Now, it's an Italian endurance-focused machine, so I'm going to tell you all about it, go through all its interesting quirks and features, and I'm also going to weigh it, give you a free hub sound check. And yes, that is the Leaning Tower of Pisa behind me. We've basically reached Paik, Italy. Before we crack on, if you enjoy these videos where we look at the latest and greatest bikes, be sure to subscribe, as helps support the channel, and it means that you won't miss any as and when they come out. Now, the Granturismo SLR. So it's Wilier's endurance-focused platform. SLR refers to the top of the line in Wilier's range. So the same is found on their lightweight bike, the Filante. The Filante SLR is the top of the range Filante. Now, the thinking behind it is that not all riders are pros or even ex-pros. And while it is cool to kind of have the same bike as one of the best riders in the Tour de France, if we're truly honest with ourselves, then most of us would be better off riding probably something a bit different. The main thing I'm referring to there is the geometry. So if we compare it to the aforementioned Filante, then it's 5mm shorter, it's 20mm higher in stack, the wheelbase is touch longer, about 1mm longer, and the head tube angle and fork rake is ever so slightly different. It doesn't sound like much, but it actually can make a significant difference to an amateur rider and someone who's not wanting a bike that's quite as aggressive as that's used by the pros. It means that you can run your stem with fewer spacers in, or perhaps even no spacers in, whereas maybe you would run it with spacers if you were riding a more aggressive machine. There's also other endurance features in here that add to the comfort and compliance of the bike, such as this shock absorber here that you can see, which I'll go into more detail in a moment. So the overall idea is that this is a bike that's ideal for people who want to go on big, epic rides, who aren't necessarily interested in racing. Maybe they're not as flexible, or they just want that geometry that enables you to be in a more relaxed position for those really long rides. And then so it's got the compliance features added to it. But it still looks like an incredibly racy bike, and it is. It doesn't look like a shopping bike, does it? It looks amazing. The frame differs from other carbon fibre bikes out there in a special ingredient that's put into the matrix of the carbon fibre. So Wilier calls this HUS-mod carbon, and by it means that it's got a liquid crystal polymer in the resin matrix, which is said to help improve vibration dampening qualities of that carbon fibre. Also, the frame weight as a total is said to be 1,100 grams. So the lightest frames available to humanity at the moment are typically around 750 grams for pure climbing frames. But with this frame having those added compliance features built in and being a bit more beefed up in places, it's going to contribute to that increased weight. Wilier hasn't produced any aero claims about the bike, but it clearly does have aero features built into it. So you can see camtail tube profiles throughout. You see them on the fork here and on the tubes back there. And then this little feature at the front, just coming off the crown of the fork, that's pretty much ubiquitous on aero bikes now. And we've got this beautiful Cockpit, which is Wilier's Zero integrated one-piece bar and stem. It's actually the same as found on the Wilier Zero, their sort of top-of-the-range climbing bike. And it differs from the Cockpit that's found on, say, like the 110, which is their aero bike. That's got a sort of deeper profile on the tops. Again, this is more geared towards comfort, so it's a nice rounder shape on the tops that's just going to be a bit more comfortable to hold, because you're going to want those extra hand positions when you're doing epic rides. So the Cockpit is available in different sizes, but if you're interested, mine is 110 stem with 42 wide bars. And as for the whole bike itself, it's available in 6 different sizes. So it goes from extra small through to double extra large. I'm 185 centimeters, 6'1". This is a size large, which is roughly equivalent to a 56. Onto the two most important compliance features of the bike to increase the comfort, and they are the shock absorber on the back and the tyre clearance. The tyre clearance is massive. These tyres are huge. These are 30mm Vittoria Rubinos, but when we measured them, they're actually coming up more like 32s, and you can actually go up to 32s on this frame. Now, as for the shock absorber at the back, it's called the ActiveFlex 2. On previous Wilier endurance bikes, like the GTR, they had an ActiveFlex system, which actually won some awards, but it was located here behind the seat post. For this one, they've relocated it in front of the seat post as it helps the frame be stiffer when you need it to be stiffer, so sprinting and stuff, and not compromising that lateral stiffness, but it does allow for better vertical compliance when you're sat on the saddle and you actually want some movement in the system. And you'll notice on this one, the SLR model, it's got this really cool 3D printed elastomer. Now that saves on maintenance over the sort of more mechanical designs that we've seen before, but also it saves on weight. It's 25 grams lighter having that 3D printed structure in there over the regular system. There are different build options available. Ours is kitted out, as you may have noticed, with full SRAM Force ETAP wireless shifting, and that has a retail price of €8,400. I only have the Euro prices at the moment because it's a very new bike, so apologies for that. But there is a Jura Ace model above that that's over €10,000, and then if you want to spend €11,700, you can get the full Campagnolo Super Record treatment on there. Now, Wilier wants the bike to be versatile and adaptable, so although we've got a front mech on here with the SRAM Force, you can see there, a really nice feature is that it actually has a plate on here for the front mech. So you can take the front mech off, and then if you want to set it up as a one-by bike, you're not left with the mech hanger sticking out the side. You just stick on a nice plate and it just makes it all neat and flush. It's a little detail, but it's just something I really like. The gearing that we've got on here is a 48-35 chain set with a 10-33 cassette on the back. Big fan of the 10-33 range. This gives you like just such a massive range, and I love the 33 gear for when you're going up the hills, you can spin. The wheels are Wilier's own proprietary ones on this particular build, and they're R38, so 38mm deep, which is really good, like all-round wheel. But you also can see that they're filament wound, which is really nice. It means they can be lighter and not use as much resin because they're knitted by a machine. So what gives that away is this nice weave feature that you can see throughout the wheel. Looks cool as well. Other quick details, so the seat post is available in two versions. You can either have this one, which has 15mm of layback, or just a straight through one. And on that, we've got this really fancy pants Pro Logo NAC saddle with carbon rails. That looks really smart. You may also notice that I've put my Wahoo power pedals, because this bike doesn't come with a power meter, and I wanted some power measurement for the epic Italian ride, so we don't pace it badly. So we've got those on there. And right, I think I'm gonna weigh it. Has got my pedals on it, so bear that in mind. Yeah, 8.16, but these tyres, they're big chunky boys, and it has got my pedals on it as well, which are a good like 400 grams, so yeah, pretty good. So now I'll do the obligatory free-up sound check. Ooh. That is very smooth, that. Very smooth, well greased. It's packing some grease. So there you have it, the new Wilier Granturismo SLR. I think it looks absolutely stunning in this red and white. I love red and white bikes, and it's also GCN colours, which I quite like it. Nice and matchy-matchy. But it's not for you, then there's black and silver ones as well. But let us know what you think in the comments section down below. And also let us know what you think about endurance bikes in general, because I think that there should be more top-end endurance bikes like this for people that don't want just pure aggressive geometry, but still want a top-end awesome bike. Anyway, right, I'm gonna go now and get some pizza. The light's going. Arrivederci.